Callaway is servicing yet another group of the golf sector. Let's see what it is. Welcome back to the McGolf Fitting Room and Golf Shop. Jim McCleary, Most Awarded Certified Club Maker, Club Fitter. If you would, swing and hit that bell down below. And if you would, like and subscribe. That way you get more of the videos when they drop. If you want to see more of what's going on in the McGolf Shop and Fitting Studio, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at I Am McGolf. All right, Callaway. Callaway has pretty much been number one in a lot of categories, if not all of them, right, in one time or another. And they are doing nothing more than keeping up that pace. My rep came down, and as always, when the rep comes down, he allows me blow-aparts. And the cool part is this is a new introduction, but with an old name. And they're servicing they're directing their attentions at new golfers, right? And the big thing with new golfers is they tend to, and as we all know, even not new golfers, that they tend to fade slice the ball. They have to get around there. They have released Big Bertha. All right, Big Bertha B21. And what this is very draw bias. It's weight forward to knock off some spin, and it has some familiar cosmetics on it. If you notice the blue from the days of the blue driver, all right, and for those guys that go back far enough, in the Warbird era where they had the cavities in the tops and the bottoms, this is a cavity area, this is as well. And then a little elongated so they can pull the center of gravity back. However, now we have the blow part so we can show you what else is going on. Bam. All right. So in this particular instance, yes, it's an adjustable driver. It will be using the jailbreak technology, right? And if you can kind of look in here, and it doesn't jump out and hit you in the face, but if you look right inside here, they've moved a lot of weight forward and into the heel to help lower spin. So when you put the weight going this way, there's the face, right? Going this way, it tends to lower the spin. And then when you move it towards the heel in this particular area, it helps you shut the club. The other part is, I don't know if you can tell from this side or not, but it also is closed, so it's a draw bias type club to begin with. Now, what else have they done? Well, we've been talking about the AI face. It's been a thing going on for at least 2 years. And I'm telling you, the thing works. I always try to describe, because the very first 2 AI faces I saw, I said, normally when you see the most companies and it's a circle and radiates out, or it's these waves and to a solid piece in the middle. And when the AI face came in, I described it as it looked like your ear, the waves that look like your ears. And this is no different, all right? So they have the AI face, and that's the supercomputer face, right? But this is what it looks like in the back. It looks like a gumbled mess. But if you really take a hard look at it, you got the radiated right there in the center, and it radiates out into the more important spots where you would actually hit the ball or actually hit the club. And it becomes a fairway finder. I know that's not typically sexy when you're trying to sell golf clubs, but it does work that way. Last but not least, which has been a plus on everything, is the composite crown. Now take a look at that blue. All right, I'm just trying to give you some different attitude at this blue. And like all the rest of them, it sits there right on top with that guy. And that's a very, 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 very deep blue. It's just like it was back in the day. It's a good looking club. So it's a little more ovally shaped, a little more closed, a little taller. So if you use the regular one, there it is. A little taller in the face, nice high crown, a really deep, cool blue, right? It's got a little bit of divot right there, or cavity right there, reminiscent of the old clubs. There you go. It's a good look. And for those guys who've been around long enough, RCH is back. All right, they're using the RCH. Now, what the RCH stands for, it's the initials for the guy that designed the original RCH club. All right. And is it this guy? No, but they're using the title, and it fits, right? It fits. And it comes with a traditional, you know, there'll be Tour Velvet-ish like grip. Well, actually it is a Tour Velvet-ish grip. It's a Tour Velvet 360. There it is. All right. And down the line, it has the fairway woods will have some offset, the hybrids will have some offset, the irons will have some offset, and we're going to review those individually as they go when more of that stuff arrives. But I just wanted to show you this. Now that we've told you all that, let's go measure and let's go test. All right, it's been a few days later. The rep didn't have a head to go hit or a club to go hit. And since we're a fitting center, we finally got him in, and we're going to test the driver first. Well, that's because that's what came in. If we look at the shafts, we see that there's 3 or 4 weight categories, right? There's a 65, a 55, a 45. And the 65 has 2 flexes in it, an S and an R, where the 45 has 4 flexes, an S, R, A, and L, or light as they'll call it. And then in the 45, it just has the light and the A. So that's where you can, there's not just here's what you can have, so it makes for a better fit. And that's what they're shooting for, right? So I put a couple of these guys in there. I put my left-handed one in, and I put a right-handed one in, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So as you see, I'm measuring. When we measure, I'm measuring for length, I'm measuring for loft, measuring for lie, measuring for flex, measuring for swing weight. And in comparison, so what do we do? In my left-handed club, I got 45.5, I've got 10.5, I got 62 with a swing weight of D4, all right? Now I tried to take the little cap off in order to make sure that was the number I was getting. Now with the 45 gram model in the right-handed version, it was just over 45.5, like 45 5/8, with a swing weight of D2, not D4, but D2, and because it's 45 gram shaft, with yet a lie angle of 62, and the face angle was at 12, and it was a 12.5, so a half degree up. Now, as we've been talking, that this has a closed face. Now, if you were to square that face up, it can and you read it, it's going to read higher. So when people decide that, you know, the club is going to sit like this at address, okay, and it's going to look funky at first, but that's where you got to leave it. And if you go to open it to make it square at address, it's going to make it more lofted. It's going to go up in the air, and chances are you're going to fade it just like you do all the other ones. What you need to do is leave it closed, because it's about a 2 to 3 degree open, okay? You can get between, I got between 2 and 3 degrees. Now, so are we pretty close? The stiff in the 65 was very, very stiff. The 45 was closer to its original flex, which tells me that these guys are butt stiff in their profile. And if it is who I think it is that made it, that tracks. They're a little off on the lie angle. They're on lofts. The flexes are just like anybody else's out there. The lengths are off by about 1/4 of an inch, but that could be just what I've gotten. But and 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch is just basically butt cap, and I don't sweat that one much either. All right, so now, how did they hit? Here we are taking a look at the Big Bertha B21, the 10.5 degree left-handed club that is 65 gram S-Flex shaft. The average was 247 carry, 251 total, and to the right, and quite a bit. That's a big number when you're talking about this distance. And so that's telling us that the club did exactly what it was supposed to do. I'm swinging at almost 102 mile an hour with a smash factor of 1.45, which I would consider to be just above average. The unfortunate part is that the spin was a little bit high. In fact, it was a lot a bit high. I need to be around 2,500-ish in that particular area, and then we'll have better results. The other part is we were in a pull, and my attack angle was just +1, which is grand. Now we need to take a look at and see how they flew. If we look at it and just look at the black marks right here, and you can see all of them but the one over here basically to the inside. So is it a slice corrector? Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's never going to be a part where you're never going to do it.
And I'd put that one out there just to show that, yes, you can put a swing on it to say, yea, verily, that was it. So here's some swings. Let's do this one. Fourth one. Okay, so you look at the graphs on this particular one. I'm just a tad outside in on the last shot. All the rest of them are just right down, just a tad outside. It's all about face angle. The shaft itself was working pretty decent, I would say. It had a load, unload, and then a reload. And so it's not working too bad, actually. I'm just getting way too much spin. Now, how do we know this? So the optimizer shows us that this is the graphic representation of all the shots that I shot. And it says somewhere in here I must have swung upwards of 103, almost 104 mile an hour. That assumes if I hit a perfect shot, meaning I've got to bring the spin or the launch angle down about a degree and hit the spin rate down just about 1,000 like we were talking about, that the white line is the flight that we should see, and I'm looking at about a 280-yard shot to almost 290 leave. However, if I hit it with my expectation of pretty close to where I was at before, then my vertical launch is fine. It just needs to come down about 1,000 RPM, and I'm seeing some significant changes. So spin is very important here. So it could be that I need to find a, because I was hitting some softer balls, so maybe something else to try and knock down some spin. As far as the grouping goes, here's what it looks like. You guys get the idea. Now again, this is a slice correcting type of club, and it was supposed to be on this particular side, which it is, with the one lone guy right out there, and most of them landing at the 250 mark and going out a little further. So there it is. So did it work? Yeah, it did its thing, but we need to knock down some spin. So let's go see how this is going to fit somebody.
Okay, as what we saw is that, do I see the right-hand side of the fairway being a left-handed guy? Does it make you go to the inside? Does it eliminate the other side of the fairway? Well, you know, if we go with the absolute wording, it eliminate the other side of the fairway. No, it doesn't eliminate the other side of the fairway, because you saw I can throw one over there. Now, while warming up and just hitting shots, I threw a few extra over there, and that was just me holding on to the club and trying to see whether or not it would go. And it will, all right? So you really, you know, does it want to make you go to the inside? Yeah. But can you throw them to the other side? The answer is still yes. I mean, even the worst swings will throw it out there, which what I demonstrated. But as a whole, predominantly, most of the time, will it do it? The answer is yeah. Right? You can see it. The proof was in the pudding. All but one shot were to the inside of the center line, my inside of the center line. And it was just allowing the face to set the way it was supposed to, which is about 2 degrees closed, allowing the club to swing, and it would send it out there. Now, what did I find out? I found out that it hit the ball kind of high. With all that weight being forward, you would think that it would really lower a lot of spin and it would hit the ball more penetrating like. And I didn't see that. And I think it has to do with the fact that it has an elongated back end where that weight is at. And that helps remove the center of gravity back to where it's probably sitting on all that weight. And for me, in my type of swing, that's not the way it works. It's not going to be very friendly. However, I did see to the inside. So who's this going to fit, right? And that's the last bit of this. Who's this going to fit? Well, if you have trouble putting the ball to the outside, so for a lefty to the left, for a righty to the right. If you want to eliminate the opposite side of the fairway, this could be a club that works for you. Now, It doesn't matter, you're going to go off the rack and you're going to pull it off the rack and say, yeah, this is going to help. No. All right, go get fit. Get that right length, okay? Length is going to help you get through it very well. Get the right flex so that that club really wants to close down. Get the right loft so you get the trajectory that you want to get through that. When all those things come together in a perfect storm for you, then you start hitting the ball. And you hit the ball as the club was designed. And this is designed to take you to the inside and help minimize the fade, minimize the slice so that you get to the inside. Now, the other really cool part about this is that they didn't forget the ladies. All right, ladies, there is one for you as well, right here. Okay, the REVA. There's going to be a REVA model all the way down the line. So if you're like just slightly lighter clubs, need slightly more flexible type stuff, not saying that every woman do, but if you're in that category, there it sits. It's in a 12, and it's like all Callaway stuff. It goes +2, -1 in lofts. So if you got a 12 and you need a 14, boom, you're there. If you need an 11.5, boom, you're there too. So, and don't be afraid to go into the other lofts. The weight's 5 grams difference when I weighed them all. 5 grams. You hardly ever feel it. All right. So don't be afraid if you hit a very, very high ball to go to a lower loft and enjoy the game. Right. Enjoy the game. Now the RCH shafts are very nice, but they may not be what you need the way that you swing. That's another thing. When you go do a fitting, you can get a better shaft or a different shaft put into it. However, so again, if you're trying to eliminate the far side, the fade, or the slice, right, this could be that club for you, right? I showed you that it does work, right? It's a little spinny, but it does work, and it gets it out there. So if you got any questions about the Big Bertha, just put them in the show notes below, and we'll get them answered as fastly as we can. Fastly? As fast as we can. And as always, let's see your scores. Go low.